Hi friends, this Christmas we want to take a look at Jesus as the light of the world. In John chapter 8 verse 12, Jesus says, I am the light of the world. While pondering upon this line, it struck me that Jesus didn't say I am one light or I am a light. He says I am the light of the world. He is clearly claiming to be an exclusive source of spiritual light. It's interesting to note at this point that in this world we have two types of light. Physical light, which is daylight, by which we can see all of God's creation. And there is another light, which is a spiritual light, which the Son of God has come to impart into our lives. Once again in John chapter 8 verse 12, Jesus said, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness. Well, let's look at this room now. We are in the darkness. Can you see anything? No, because there's darkness all around. But watch what happens when we bring a light into the darkness. Can you see something? The darkness has suddenly disappeared. How? Why? Because the light has come into the room. Notice two things. One is the light has overcome the darkness. There are two elements here. One is darkness and the other is light. Of these two, the light is the more powerful element, for it is the light that dispels the darkness. And the darkness, which is still there to some extent, cannot overcome this light. Now in this second demo, I want you to see something very carefully. We have some light in the room right now, and I'm holding up a candle against the wall. This candle casts a shadow onto the wall, which I'm sure you can see clearly. This candle is our lives, which generally is filled with darkness and casts the shadow of sin out from our lives. Now what will happen when Jesus says, he who follows me, he who believes in me, he who follows me will never walk in darkness, for the light of life will be in him. Watch what happens. Something very strange and very beautiful that I want to show you right now. You can see the candle, you can see the shadow, but watch what happens now. You can still see the candle, you can still see the shadow that the candle casts upon the wall, but the candle now has a light. And it's very interesting that the light does not cast any shadow. The candle casts a dark shadow, but the light cannot cast even a shadow. That powerful is the element of light. And this is what Jesus meant when he said, he who follows me will have the light of life and will not walk in darkness, because this light which he gives cannot cast a shadow of darkness.